That's quick.
So they just sacrificed
Yeah. Jordan, that was good on
Carol, can you mute, please? So we can actually see. Come on in, everybody. Come on in.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. We'll call it to order here at 6:03. I will accept the motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to adopt.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Move on to approval of the meeting minutes from the November 12th board meeting.
It looks like we're missing time. We have that as 9:21. Motion to adjourn.
Minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? David, do we have any dialogue?
I think anybody signed up. Lots of people here.
good reason.
All right, well, then we'll go ahead and move on to the most important topic on the agenda. State champion volleyball team.
Let's go!
Oh man, it's gotta feel pretty good. Ryan, you wanna?
Yeah, we've got a volleyball team here, a very supportive group of parents and fans and siblings, along with the girls who brought home our second state championship this year. So it's kind of weird. Monday we were at the Weld County Commissioners, so you guys, all your procedures and stuff, they're experts at. They've seen it twice a year, so they're getting used to this program. But anyway, I don't want to talk much about them because it was them who went off and did what they did this year. But a really good group of girls, great group of parents to work with, and even our coach staff we put together this year with the help of what started the spring with Darren and put together, make sure we had somebody on staff, make sure we had the times and things going on. The wonderful staff of coach that we put together with BJ coming back, Sally, Taylor, Tyra, who helped also. Very appreciative of the opportunity. Very glad to have them as representing University High School, even downstate tournament. Tons and tons of compliments. Jared will probably say it's going to say we're the second smallest school in class grade, so like 6 or so. We're playing schools that are really dominated. Just like Windsor, so that was kind of cool. Windsor became our new arch rival this year. So, anyway, I'll send it up to you. If have something ready to say, Jordan. I know you're itching to say something.
I just think it was a great season. This team is just we had
Carly, you looked at me. You had something to say too, right?
I was just, but yeah, same thing. Like this team is just so special. Everyone here has built bonds and for sure friends, which is so amazing. We're very cohesive and good to live.
So I have a bunch of elementary kids. I don't know anybody. I don't know any of you. So can you introduce yourselves? Tell us how old you are and or I guess what grade you're in?
Maybe your heads out college.
Yeah, you're still in college. Yeah. Start in the back corner.
I'm Kelly and I'm Carly. I'm Grace and I'm Salt.
Way slower.
I'm Lizzie and I'm yeah. Is do air.
Try.
Like
And
Thank you for doing that. Coach, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. I just wanted to thank all of our parents that are here supporting us, also the board and our administration. What we've, we have 48 on the back of our sweatshirt for a reason. Those 48 people, including the trainer and then all of the kids in our program. At 42 was a record number. Actually, had 55 kids come out. Volleyball was a record number of kids. Promoted by past. And this trophy runs deeper and stronger than just the 16 kids that were on the sideline and the 4 coaches. Like you said, our goal is to make sure the junior Bulldogs are looking up to these young ladies. And we're a class act. We represented university in our community at a very high level, I would say, all year. We lost a few 5-set matches that if you might have been at, early in the year, and those made us tougher and stronger, and we never shied away from competition. Truly, we've celebrated this week. We're celebrating on Sunday. It really hasn't sunk in. Miss Tim made a photo montage that I've only seen. And I'm in the Salt Lake Airport this afternoon, flying home from a work obligation, and I'm crying in the airport. I'm sure you're like, what's this guy doing? But it's just, and I told Ryan we'll share it with all of you because it shows everything we've done from our senior night to our cancer awareness night where we raised $7,000. To our whiteout night, to what our parents have done in the stands, what they do outside the gym that a lot of people don't see, and just hoping that we can continue that momentum giving back to our community. And it's pretty amazing to have, these female athletes at university are amazing. Softball team, the volleyball team win a state championship, and then having our rival, quote unquote, from the Patriot League up the street win a state championship as well. And it just says a lot about the young women that are in Northern Colorado. And we're super thankful. We're super grateful. Really hasn't hit us yet, hasn't hit me yet that we've won it. So just want to say thank you to everyone. And they worked hard. They're the ones that did the work. They trusted the process. We put Be Special on our shirts for a reason. Started that in July, special, and we were special all year. And to win a state championship is not easy. And people say it needs luck, and I don't think we even talked about luck, right? Like, we just went out and played. We used some breathing exercises, right, Carly? You know, right? And then we used some breathing exercises, right? We took deep breaths in the state championship after every timeout as a team, and they just went out and performed. It was pretty neat. So thanks to everybody, and hopefully we can do it more.
Well, congratulations on behalf of the school board. Thank you for bringing that top home.
Before you let them leave, I got to brag about on a couple other things. Non-volleyball stuff.
Right.
This is something I guess the volleyball program is going to force us in the other athletics better. As Jared said, volleyball always has this cancer awareness night, or dig pink or whatever. Every school does it. Some schools do it more to dress up in pink than to do something. Our volleyball team really, truly does get into it, and we got a letter from or Jennifer, Mrs. Weaver got a letter from the Weld County Foundation. They did a cancer night and raised $7,000 for the Weld County Foundation on behalf of Delia and John Hafley. You should know who John Hafley is around Greeley. He was a university grad, which I didn't say a whole lot about, but he was a longtime teacher at Greeley West. Yeah, they raised $7,000 for the team, parents, community members. And that's a lot of money in one night. So we got a thank you letter from Tim Coons, that's it, President CEO. Weld County. And then here's also the special part of this, that every school does this. When we went out to Sterling was having their night or whatever, and this was a letter from the Sterling principal, Mr. Casey, that words alone will never thank you enough for the fellowship support provided by your volleyball community to us here at Sterling. As you know, we had our Pink Out Day to support one of our young students who has cancer. Your team school prepared a gift basket with gift cards, goodies for the student and her family, and received an unbelievable donation at our bake sale, raising money for her cause as well. So many people we don't personally know reach out, provide support our loved ones. Great blessing that can never be repaid. So our community even did stuff to other schools and stuff. So I think that's what's special about these parents. They're very involved. They dress up with the kids. Some of them are high school students still. Which is cool. But this volleyball program has set a standard, I think, for us is what we need to do community service-wise in our programs moving forward. Like that. So good job, ladies. Thank you. Now we're done. Unless Mr. Casey, Mrs. Weaver, or anything.
No, the only other thing I was super impressed with, or anything to impress with, but that I thought were different than other teams is I guess could have been celebrating and could have been blowing up the gym to honor their seniors and give bags. Your class act, I'm super proud of you as athletes. And for the whole community. So there you go.
Let's get on with your meeting now.
We want to Booster Club and USPTO.
The USPTO was able to come, but they did send an update to share with you. Good evening. We're so sorry that we can't be with you tonight. Between other commitments, a couple of birthday celebrations. Ceremonies are awful, but they wanted to give you a quick update from the PTO commencement. Really busy in a couple of months. Their fall grant cycle went incredibly well. We're thrilled to award $20,000 in grants this round. Those were to teachers, classrooms, and student experiences across our school. In early December, they hosted the holiday shop, and that was a huge hit again. If you remember, we had to take off last year. Volunteers. So they brought that back this year. The kids loved it. They really enjoyed it in their activities. They're also happy to share that they were able to donate about $1,500 in gift cards to close the gap with Giving Tree to make sure that everyone was accepted. And they said looking ahead, once they return from winter break, they're going to kick off the spring grant cycle, which will be the first one in February. They still plan to partner with elementary to help with math puddle and last day of school popsicles. And they are supporting partnership. They're going to with a collaboration. Excited to
Nobody from Booster Club, right? Okay, we will move on to staff reports. The principal's update.
Lucky night. All right, we got a couple of goodies for you tonight. I'll give a quick update. David was nice enough to put something together for us, and then I also asked the special visitors here that hopefully to spotlight more than myself. They're a lot cooler than I am. Sports update. Michael wanted me to share with you guys. Boys basketball is winding down. It will actually be done this week, so that's absolutely crazy to think we're already through boys basketball. Our B teams finished up last Saturday. Very successful seasons, lots of growth there. And then our A teams, I believe we have quarterfinals tomorrow. Both teams are the 2 seed. They'll be hosting quarterfinals in this gym up here, Kerry Green Gymnasium. 7th grade 4 o'clock, 8th grade 5 o'clock. So if you have nothing to do, come on by and check that out. Win tomorrow night, go on to semis and finals at Eaton, 8 a.m. Saturday. Yes, I said it. I probably shouldn't have, but I said it. When we get back from break, then we have a week off. Then we get back from break. Girls basketball starts and wrestling starts. So we had our organizational meetings for those yesterday, and I believe we had, gosh, I don't know, upwards of about 50 kids signed up going into this already. So we're excited where we're at. Also, after basketball tomorrow, we have a choir concert. Over in the auditorium. I believe that's about 7 o'clock. Monday's our snow show extravaganza, which rumor is will also be including choir, middle school choir in that, along with high school choir. Also, Colleen is trying to include some art stuff with that, which I've been pumped about. So more a total fine arts deal. And then next Wednesday, guitar concert. So we're jam-packed with all sorts of stuff, awesome stuff. A few things that have been happening at the middle school. Been trying to encourage, since we have been able to find funding, thanks to Sue, thanks to the foundation, for educational field trips. We've been trying to find different ways to essentially provide those learning experiences for our kids. And we've had some really cool ones. JA Finance Park for our 8th graders. Jolene took advanced art students at the Denver Art Museum. We had science class go down to the Learning Center. Over there, we took advantage of that, which was awesome. And then our most recent one, we have a broadcasting class, which is a new class at the 6th grade level. And Rob was able to partner with professors over at UNC. And we had kids go over there and actually podcast and actually record video broadcasts using teleprompters and things like that. So check this out. But really cool. Really cool planting those seeds. Got some more that are in the works, so we're trying successful planning those. The McWillie's social studies class, we always do our VFW Patriots 10 essays at this time of year. The kids write about various prompts, but usually it has to do with Patriots. A Patriot, as of now, kind of rolling, and we back for winners. Right now, we've got 2 first place, Gomez and Jordan Jones back place, which is awesome. That's a regional contest. That's for us. Clark shared with us as a staff the other day, we have, let me just read them. We've got a multitude of honor band winners. Guys, any school would be lucky enough to have like half as many of these. So the fact that we've got this many, and if it's cool, I'd love to say these names because this is just unbelievable. So honor band winners, this was through essentially auditioning. Danielle Gonzalez, Olivia Johnson, Micah Krug, Natalie Maris, Landon Marquez, Bree Martinez-Canales, Catherine Martinez-Canales, Megan McAdams, Kathy McDowell, Lucinda Rizzo, KJ Schott, Milo Schulte, Layla Verdugo, Dexter Wilk, Leo Wilson. That's just from our school, honor band. So, holy cow, holy cow. So, that's awesome. I believe there's 2 bands that these kids will be playing in and representing university. There. Our counseling team has been super busy, even outside of helping our kids. Our Anxious Generation Book Talk had its second workshop with that. So we're moving into our third next. That's been very, very enlightening as far as tech use and moving into AI. Crazy to even have someone tax AI having with our families. Counselor were also integral in putting on our food drive for our food pantry. Take a peek in there over the auditorium. We're still bursting that, so we've been able to help out lots of families. We'll be able to continue doing that. And then it wasn't the best timing, but we felt the need was there. But butted right up against the Giving Tree gift card drive. The holidays also crucial for our families, and with the help of USPTO and with everybody else who was able to give that, we were able to hit our goal. So hopefully we'll realize that is at. And then the last thing which we'll do after the video is I was happy to hand out our Top Dog Award winners awards. So this is I challenge our teams at our school to recognize a male and a female semester. These are the kids that essentially live our Spark ideals day. This semester we'll do at the end of the next semester. And we have 5 of the 6 today, which I'll introduce after this, but you'll also hear from them in this, which is cool. But guys, this is we're filled with great kids down there. This is the cream of the crop from the first semester. I'll introduce them to you quickly. Now this video here, you guys remember last year, I was like, oh my God, I talked too much and I continue. Here's the deal. I'm just going to keep talking too much to you guys because I get excited about being here and saying all good things. But it's not about me. Never going to be about me. The middle school is all about the people in the middle school. I want to make sure they get their props. So when we started this last year, I wanted to make sure that we recognize some of the people off our leadership team, teachers, and some of the kids. So we essentially went back to the well with this. I had some of the leadership team that I didn't get a chance to video. Amanda was one of them, but Amanda you get to see all the time, so we're going to save her for another video, but that's okay. But her time's coming. But we have a few more BLT members that I wanted to recognize. And then I said, okay, I want you guys to give some shout outs to some other teachers that we have. Well, the first one I was talking to said that they have to be a teacher. And I was like, oh boy, monkey wrench in this. But I said, no, they don't have to be a teacher. What do you think? They said, well, I think we need to also maybe recognize some of our support. So we're going to recognize some support staff in here as well. And then we're also going to spotlight our. So sit back, relax, enjoy this. I'm sorry I'm still talking in this video as well. But we'll just listen to some of the other people on here and then we'll
Greetings, university community.
Go ahead, David. Thanks. Yeah, there's me. Yeah, I know. All right.
Welcome back. Do you guys remember last year we decided to do a video showcasing essentially the awesome staff members that we have at University Middle School and recognizing what makes this such a special place. And instead of me sitting here and talking to the school board with my updates, we decided to do the same thing again this year. So we're going to be recognizing the 3 staff members that I picked from our building leadership team, and they're also going to be choosing additional staff members for you to get to.
My name is Liz Higgins. I teach 8th grade LA. This is my 4th year here at university. This is my 10th year overall teaching middle school. I'm a 2000 graduate of university. My sister and my brother also went to school here. And so university is just really an important part of our family. The things I love about being here are just how much everybody is just cares about each other and looks out for one another, and it goes up and beyond to be supportive, which I really appreciate. I would like to recognize one of our middle school counselors, Laura Reed. This is her second year here with us at university, and she has just done such a phenomenal job, I think, of being visible with our kids and connecting with our kids and offering them the support they need to navigate everyday life in middle school. It's not easy, and she does such a great job, and she's so personable, easy to talk to, and comfortable to be around. I'm really glad she's part of our family here.
Hi, my name is Laura Reed, and I'm one of the middle school counselors here at University Middle School. This is my second year here at University, and it's been awesome to be here, and I hope to be here for many more years. I really do appreciate that it's K-12 and being able to see the kids when they're younger, and then watching them grow into middle school, then being able to follow them a little bit after middle school into the high school. I think that's really awesome. I love being able to go to the other building and see the little ones, and then they're excited to get to middle school and to see us, but then it's also really awesome as they're growing older. So that's a really amazing part, and I love the people that I get to work with.
Hey, my name is Joanna Angus. I've been at university for 11 years, and currently I am teaching 7th grade science and 6th grade science. I'm in the building team leadership and also the science department chair. What I like about university is the kids, of course. The kids make it really fun. They're awesome. Been in a lot of different schools, and university students are the best. I want to do a shout out to Perla Perez, one of the amazing people in our front office. She keeps things flowing for everyone. She's always got a smile on her face and greets everybody like just amazing. And she also helps me when I need to have an interpreter, and also with filling out my forms that sometimes I don't fill out right. She's always she's awesome.
Hi, my name is Carla Perez. I was born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico. I am married with 2 kiddos, Sofia and Carlo. Sofia is a freshman this year, and Carlo is an 8th grader this year here at University Schools. I work here at the main office, at the middle school office. I am the attendance clerk, but I get to wear many hats throughout the day. You know, it's not just doing the attendance itself. You know, I help the teachers, I support the students mainly, and also, you know, work in conjunction with the administration and, you know, do all kinds of stuff around here. I'm a firm believer that when you have a good contact or a good relationship with parents or students, you know, or anybody that comes in there, vendor, you can create a very great welcoming experience. What I love about university is that it feels like a true community. You know, everybody works together. We all have the same mission and the same goal, which is, you know, help the students thrive. But most importantly, they're the number one for us. You know, the minute they come into the office or the minute the parents call, we always have an answer for them. And if we don't have an answer for them, you know, we always get back to them. Something that I really love about this school is the cohesiveness that we have. You know, diversity at this school is important to me, and I feel that it makes this school very special, just because we try to tap into every demographic, if you will, that we have here, especially the Hispanic population. Here at the middle school, you know, I am the second person who speaks Spanish. You know, I try to help as much as you can, you know, with translation, to make the families feel welcome, and especially when they come in the front door and they need to speak to the principal, they need to speak to the teacher, you know, I feel that I'm that person that can connect with them and help them whatever needs that they have.
My name is Joy Gallegos, formerly Prather. I've been here since this building opened in 2013. Crazy how long that's been and how fast it's gone. So yeah, my former students knew me as Prather. But I've been the PE and health teacher in this building the entire time. I've recently added a couple classes, the sports performance class, which is pretty cool, and an intro to sports medicine class, which I'm loving. The university is unique. I love that we are a K through 12 school. Even though we are still in a big city, we need to still see the kids come through that I taught as their 6th and 7th graders grown up as seniors. Sometimes I don't recognize them because they've grown up so much, but I love that we still have that K through 12 connection. I think that's pretty unique. What I love most about university, I think, is obviously the students are a big draw. Right? We have pretty great kids here, and I think the staff, especially here at the middle school, because that's I know best, is they're awesome. We have a lot of great team members who are always willing to work together as a team and support each other. At home, and I can't imagine being anywhere else, really. I'll give a shout out to Stephanie Hughes. She's a major part of this building. She's always willing to help and does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and sometimes it goes unrecognized. So, yeah, so give her a shout out and thank her for everything she does.
All right, I'm Stephanie Hughes. I am the library aide in the middle school library. My journey as a Bulldog started in 19-something when I was in 6th grade, and I graduated from university and have had 2 kids graduate and 1 as a senior this year. And I started working as the library aide, I think in about 2011. So I've been here a while. What I like about university is the family feel, both among the staff and among the students and their parents and families. And that's just been a really consistent thing since I was a student here.
Another part of this video update is to recognize a special group of students. These are our top dog winners. And this was an award that we brought back last year. And we do this at the end of each of our semesters. And these are these students, a male and a female, out of each grade level that exemplify our expectations each and every day. So I'd like you to meet these students as well, and they're also going to share a little bit about what they love about University Middle School, what makes University Middle School special, and I would like to give them a public thank you for being the awesome students that they are, and wish to commend them on all the great things that they do here at University Middle School.
My name is Mary and I'm in 6th grade. One thing I love about university is that everybody here is kind and caring. I'm Grayson and I'm a 6th grader. One thing that I love about university is the students and staff here. They always pick you up and you always have a good day.
I'm Hinson Doss. I'm an 8th grader here at university. The thing that I think makes university special is our great teachers and staff that help us here with all of our extra things that we can do, like work or getting on the class. And then something I think makes university different, the best thing about university is our sports. We're really good at them and offers a lot of sports, so anyone can do anything.
My name is Ellie Navarez and I'm in 8th grade, and what I like about university is just how everyone's just so welcoming, and there's great teachers and students here, and also the sports, it's really good, and there's a lot of different ones to choose from, and anyone can just
My name is Landon Marquez. I'm in 7th grade. What I love most about this school is the complete diversity in all of the specialized needs that we have, and how much the community loves to be here and teach us everything they know.
Well, that's all we've got right now. Hopefully you were at least a little entertained from checking out our video and getting to see some of the amazing teachers, staff members, and students that make University Middle School a special place. And I'd be remiss if I did not recognize you all, the parents, guardians, and community that truly help us do the things that we do every single day as well. So thank you all. Appreciate you tuning in. And as always, come on in, check things out, come and hang out with us at University Middle School. Thank you for all you do, and go Bulldogs. Have a great day.
Alright. Gotta talk a little more, and I'll be done. Alright. Can I get top dog winners? Come on up. You know who you are. So I'm going to embarrass them by introducing them a little bit. And we've got 5 of our 6. The one that we weren't able, unfortunately, to get in the video, but I'll get her in our pictures, things like that, was a 7th grader named Quinn Finch. Quinn is actually new to us. Friends here. We've been trying to get in for a little bit, and we were able to get her over here this year. So I'll have to introduce her. Very happy here, and we're trying to get some. But let's just go down the line here. First but not least, Mary Williams. Mary, daughter of Scott and Jenny. I actually had the pleasure of being able to teach Mary class first quarter, and it was awesome. So, Mary, congratulations. All right, Ellie, I feel like we've done this before. We have. It's cool. Ellie Navarez. Ellie, daughter of Jessica, and I think I saw Maro back there. Maro, hello, brother. Ellie, if you haven't seen her, she got lots of talents, but I tell you what, volleyball, holy cow, watch out. But totally well-rounded, great kid. Love seeing her coming with space every day. But Ellie, congratulations. All right, Landon. Landon doesn't say much. Probably one of the most polite people you'll ever come across. Probably one of the most solid people. Solid in academics, solid in sports, solid in exercise as well. So excited to see that you were nominated by the team. And Landon, son of a familiar staff member. There she is, Megan Marquez. And George, unfortunately George couldn't make it. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Last 2 here. Sorry. Henson might look familiar. You can actually get a chance to see Henson tomorrow night to come to our basketball game at 5 o'clock. Very, very talented athlete. Very, very student as well. Henson kind of special in that he has both parents that work at the university. Got Ashley back there. I didn't know if Casey. Yeah, I figured he'd probably be busy. But, you know, with that comes a little added pressure having mom and dad nearby. But great kid, come out and find him on the or in the classroom. And then last but not least, this was kind of a fun call to make. Actually, I had talked to his dad up here, who we were lucky to grab as a math last year, but when I called Melissa, his mother, we had just had this talk for his sister last year, so you know we kind of have a shadow to live in. But he's charting his own path this year as a 6th grader. Another one that man, I was impressed right away. Interactions with me, how polite he is. Always fun. But this is Grayson's son of Jake, Melissa Stone, our other. Congratulations. I told them this might be a little embarrassing. I also warned them you guys might ask questions, things like that. So all I do is kind of be nice. When you guys usually are, but be nice if you have any questions. Especially Henson and Nellie. So, you guys have any questions for the top dog?
All right, so how excited are you to get away from Mr. Skyler?
To be honest,
It sounds like he talks a lot. I don't know if that's normal or if you're just nervous because he's in here. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any questions for us?
So what's your main, like, how do you guys have?
We are mainly in charge of policies here at the school and to what review budgets, or I'm sorry, we review the budget, go through the budget every year. And on top of that, we're also the policy line. The board only has one employee. I don't know if you know that. So, if her reports to us, directly with her, but charge of the rest of the schools.
Say a little bit.
So tonight, we're gonna be
Yeah,
looking at
that's
a
a great one.
policy that decides like how
So, like with that policy, it's not a requirement. We have schools essentially had a policy that's ever came across our desk for approval. So now the state is required that as law. It is super exciting. Well, honestly, probably the most exciting part is seeing you kids up here. I was surprised. I did not realize that this would happen tonight. So I mentioned volleyball was an exciting topic, but you're right there. So this is pretty darn cool.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you guys. We appreciate you flags here.
Thanks, guys. Thank you both for
Okay, we can move on to the superintendent's update.
I guess I would just also say that a lot of people that they do also help out in a lot of ways. As Kyle mentioned, Laura was a big part of the food drive. We opened up the HSS book study in our whole school. Stephanie's getting ready to be on our technology manager second time. She helps out a lot in that way. And I was also going to say, I was going to say that Perla and South K-12 food pantry, she's also on our leadership. And so a lot of not only awesome work in their building, but they're also the whole school. This contributes to our whole family. Liz works here, Carrie works here, Lisa works here. So we have, those of you back in the day knows Nurse Jane. So all people that are related to Lacey. So they're awesome. So Henson made me feel so old. When I got here, he was a tiny little kiddo, and he didn't miles. Come and find me every single day and talk to me. Now, with me, it's crazy. But it's K-12 wise, we have a lot going on. I tried to like just a few things. We have a giant hole in some footers, so we got started with construction. That was really exciting. Less exciting, but actually turned out great. That forced us to drop off a bit. That's actually gotten about 10 minutes faster than before. So there are definitely some growing pains with that, but significantly we were expecting. Onto that, the wrap draft is soon, that we can. It'll get. We're super excited. That this week we worked in the kitchen. Break probably how things play out with cereals. Right now they're waiting on blocks, so we're going to move to going the restroom the rest of the. Going ahead and bring up the temporary wall. and demoing the security office. And that is going to become a hallway and then the teaching room. So those are probably going to happen over. Obviously, it was very exciting extracurricular wise, getting this soft volleyball band. Like USPTO mentioned, it's really nice to have the holiday shop. A lot of forward to that. I really appreciate of their own time and their own family. It's really cool to see how many all of our East grades and would shop. That was really fun to see. So that's a tradition I'm really glad they were able to bring. Also. We're working on next steps for both facilities planning and the bus grant. In terms of facility assistance planning, got approved to apply. We had to do an intent. Approved, got that. Application, I actually got it just opened up. And based on looking at the numbers, this year I think we're about 48. It looks like next. Yeah, we were expecting the state to anticipate the number would go down each year for years. So I'm super glad we their free software system and made it work, because it was not fun, but it was certainly worth it. So there was a little less painful. I almost emailed last year, so we were able to just find them and send them again. So only a couple more steps on that, but I'll finish that up. In terms of the bus grant, Sue and Dennis with our CA liaison to go over sort of the projects that we're in for the bus grant. It was a viable project. We'll work on that. We did the intent to apply. Yeah, finished. We got that all done today. Also today, Brad Stiles was here and with Dennis. The things they from the state is state certainly weighs heavily. These are going well. We really appreciate it. He's going to go. This. We did our lockdown drill, which is not you can do that all the time. Two things that were really nice. That we got to with all of our parents. And we also got we both initiated the drill. So we feel really confident. So that happened really well. Having all of our tests to go back. That is actually really smooth, and it also this really well. We learn just like we always do. Is continue overall both of those. That one, they both. The loss of internet gave us an opportunity to practice other things. So as most of you know, we had almost, well, it was the night before, but with kids, no internet. So I have to say that most of the stuff was on board with me. Those more often. Unplugged day more often because it really wasn't. Kids had a lot of fun in classes. And everyone was relaxed. We did also get to test some of our emergency. So the good news was that by having we had no control, no act, anything inside the building. So Epic worked, which was great, and Access worked, and our those. So that was great. That's my both. It was really great. We did learn that some of the ways we were sending messages had different implications. Cool too. We sent it as a description and it seemed as though it would override everyone's preference. We found out that have to send that. So we learned we do have to send it at that level and override preferences. Who doesn't like to get text messages from us? So when we sent it as a school alert, we didn't receive it as a text. That was the first time we also had practiced internal communication with her, so we sent any updates. That worked well, and then also nice. The parent, I don't know, before the 6 that had our message just said we have phone outage. Block, basically, and we were able to actually ask people to contact Herman Perlis. I'm not sure we're all on the same page with the urgent and important, but that communication didn't work well. So it's not the greatest thing to not have internet, but it actually, we ended up really having a pretty fun day, and it gives a good opportunity to see how these things would operate in the absence of. I had a great time at senior board. I don't know if any of you guys got to come, but I always feel like, man, my room was hand-picked. Just not, but I had really great presentations. I was in Sarah Wilt's room, and she was an awesome facilitator. She's so great at getting the kids pumped up and also calm and trying to shake up their nerves. And for the most part, they were really nervous to do that. And she was a really great facilitator. Our parent volunteer was amazing and super interested in the kids. Really diverse projects. We had students who had learned to rebuild and do a complete body work. We had somebody who ran on for dollars, and we had someone who partnered with CSU to learn how to do what's called PIN and study them and preserve them. So we were all over the place with one student who was really excited from their fashion design and merchandising class. So they did a project on designing and sewing all of their clothes. So it was all over the place in my room, but they were really, really good. So I loved it. I know it's really hard to keep some of the traditions the bigger we get and the more diverse we get, but that's one that is still going really strong and so that was fun. So congratulations to all the seniors moving it up. We've got kids who now we're done with that, and now we can really focus on the ones who not get done with that. And Chase has sometimes daily conversations with them, so, but that really helps narrow down. You know, in the past, we didn't always know until we got really close to graduation it wasn't finished. So we've got a really good idea now and can really support those kiddos in completing that requirement. We had a master plan meeting. We're able to update the most recent plan with some additional suggestions. We also had some conversation, and I actually had a meeting yesterday with Dr. Schneedorf to go out and spend time walking through all of our properties and really thinking about now that the joint use right before you've been here for 6 years, are there any other places on campus that we really should look at utilizing better? And we had some great suggestions, some that were small, and they could help us with softball site, field, and for them, future playground. And then obviously we talked about some really big picture things about auditorium and Westfield. So we're going to continue to work on that and hope that we might have a proposal for in January. I shared with you in your packet, I think it's in there somewhere. Yeah, shared with you, looks like this. We restructured, tried to make a little more clear and efficient our elementary leadership structure. So elementary not too long ago was in the 50-ish employee range, which is pretty similar to what Kyle supervises at the middle school or Jeff at the high school. We're heading now pretty close to 100. Really large staff for 2 people to try to manage carefully and have a regular ongoing contact with. Our leadership book that we all read as a group this summer was Radical. And one of the things that she feels like we researched most meetings with your director. Imagine how that went over in 50. So we worked together to try to really be thoughtful and divide up responsibilities and duties. So a couple things came from that. One, you notice that middle column, the title of associate principal, that is not a position that we currently have until now. We decided to elevate Cora Helmo to an associate principal position to really honor the experience and responsibility, decision making, and certainly the ability of Cora to be a principal anywhere if she wants to be. The reason she needs inserted anywhere else. So we created that title for her and sort of elevated her level of responsibility. Then we tried to sort of divide up the responsibilities in the building to be really intentional about who people's direct contact were, who they can go to for support, both for their kids, programs. So the box, you'll see a box that's shared. So those are responsibilities that Mike and Cora both have for programs listed. So for Mike, that's K-24, special ed gifted, and with that. And for Cora, it's 135, intervention, We decided to follow the counselor model. If you notice, that's the same model that our counselors use. So these are the grade levels that we work with, and then we move each year. So we debated this model against having a K2 principal. We felt like what we most need right now, really close relationships. So if I'm Cora, I will follow those kids rotate through. So she'll see those kids, she'll start. So the principals will rotate back and forth. It is definitely still up for seeing how that works and considering. So we'll see how it goes. And then Adam Mills, position this year, you remember, his title is assistant principal restorative. So Kyle's not going to be a direct supervisor, he's a first year. But he is going to be a direct contact for teachers, recess area. We really developed those groups because Kyle comes from the specialties when he came to university. But also because those are groups not as much as specials and our monitors who are really dealing with a lot of behavior right now. Our figure out I was always not in that way. So it made. And then the individual boxes that go under each column, these mirror pretty closely what see coordinator horizontal. So these things didn't. We hope that this will help facilitate teachers more intentional. Also hope I just wanted to give you an update. We unveiled this to teachers last week. About things that really we want to continue. Curriculum continues to be one of the place really is really changing their relationships. It's really so they've already been in a lot of like better and great. So just like I said, I wanted to give you an update on that. Okay. Kyle, look. At the elementary. Let's see what else we got. Jeff was going to update you a little bit. He can give you way more details. But I did want to give you, didn't want to give you an update because I know you guys have Katie have been
Yeah, so we every week for it was our fifth days we have a AI work group. I think we've had 17 different teachers participate at various just working on what are the skills we're teaching kids regarding AI, what are the safeguards we're using, how are we helping them develop acceptable times to use it, unacceptable ways to use it, what are the different ways we're comparing different types of AI. Getting pretty close. I think next week will be our last regular one. We kind of those up to break. We'll see where it goes. Rubrics for teachers and recommendations and things like that. Jennifer has my did a couple different templates today of a rubric of times to use it, and then also core skills that we want them to have within how they're using it. We talked today about trying to coordinate with the middle school because things about they're using it, and but it's been really good. Katie does a lot of work, background work, and Joyce helps to. Teachers have really engaged, and we've had every department sort of brainstorm positive and good uses, safeguards. Questions about those? Eric,
Yeah, I'm still hearing a lot of pushback from my own kids saying no. And literally traveling with them when they're struggling with things. Keep them out extended periods of time to go, this is a great, and let's fix this. Everybody has a tutor and free stuff. But I'm getting a lot of that pushback. No, we're not allowed. So I think we've got to fix that.
Yeah, and I think that's a part of what the work group is doing. And today, 2 of our Algebra 1 teachers were in there, and we're talking about using it conversationally, more like a tutor, but also using it for tasks. Like, the goal of this is to learn writing skills. Let AI do the draft. Necessarily, the goal is how you're editing your writing, so you don't need to. Right? So there's task use for it, and there's use. And how do we know when to use both, and letting the objectives drive the appropriate use? So yeah, I think we're headed that direction, and different people are at different levels, but we're building that.
Understand?
Yes.
Kids also had really good attendance as well. Fourth range is still, I think that's like our treated as a tinker lab. The PLCs, but it's been a lot of.
Biggest thing is just right now, what we thought it to go literally doesn't work. So it's going to be a hard one. Use community resources where you need them. So.
More examples. At lunch, some of them will come. And I've just got some updates for Brian. We've got more, always. We've got more state competition coming up. The cheerleading Friday, Saturday. Both of those are. That's. We've got. See how much. Days. We've got our university so between the middle school gym here, we're hosting 24 bars. Any kind of basketball, we got a place for you. Boys and girls obviously had a great season last year. They're both starting the they had so big numbers. You wrestling thing. They're signed up. We've got 4 girls wrestling. So the wrestling coaches are working really hard to think about but there it's awesome. And esports, and the tune. So that's only for second year. So already making it bracket. That's and as Ryan mentioned, it was really cool. But on softball, both Dog Day, always interesting for the kids. Are always like, those I got to see them. I got to see you guys. So I think they were more impressed with their digs. But they have a little fancier setup. But that's we appreciate the recognition. And great, possible for both care and really digging deep. Just the team.
You mentioned technology management. We get
So Jeff Lemons. And so I think the timing is so much. So we're gonna have interviews Thursday. Cool. 5 people, one that's also. And so we're really hoping that we the good news.
I know one of how's that go?
Sue and I were saying, too bad we only just started that and weren't finished with it. That would have been great. Aloe was not out of commission. Yeah, we are.
Okay. So that's still in works. But,
We got that in the works. We also, one of the things, safety audit, they either, right now it's in
sorry. Mentioned we're knocking down the security office over on the old entrance of that past hallway
that's where
there.
the hallway would be.
We have a house with security. That is
So we never intended that to stay an entrance. It's do it. The good thing is how we all of it. So we are.
we're still keeping it airlocked.
So we are gonna off. Put that off. Video.
Network.
Yeah, yeah. So we are gonna a little bit of a station there. Most so easy. Most
All right, we'll move on to the manager.
Right.
Now this is the most important.
Now, actually, I'm feeling like this is like boring part of the whole thing. You don't have to say.
video, you don't
I know,
have
but
kids.
all right, we gotta get together and figure out.
Sue, did you see the class put a budget number up there on the board for you?
Oh, gee, when you Christmas, that's a big number.
We can do some fun stuff with that.
Oh, yeah. It'd be a lot. All right, November financials are in your packet. Today we're at 41.6% of our budget. And we have a year-to-date surplus this time, $317,098. And you'll see those splits for MLO usage and general fund items in that revenue sheet. Balance sheet, the prepaid expense account under the asset increased by $140,000 from last month, and the deferred revenue under the liabilities there also increased about $6,000 from last month. Again, those are the two holding accounts, if you want to call them that, of those dollars that we're getting or prepaying the district. So those are going to increase a little bit. Revenue page, we didn't get our capital construction in November. We haven't gotten it yet, and so I'm going to contact just see if they've got it. And then on our expenditures, salary and benefits are still running well. The only things I saw that I haven't really reported on before, field lights, we are done. Field lights. I was hoping that it was this year, and I couldn't remember, and I just we are done. They're paid off. We'll be able to. And then our natural gas. I don't know if you remember last year. Man, we haven't used very much gas. Well, it turned out that the meter was. And about the time I called Atlas, but the guy from Atlas. So tomorrow, or one of these, yeah, I'm going to have to get with him. So we'll probably get. I have to let the board know we did have check fraud again on our general fund checking account. The difference between this time and last time is that our bank has put into place some very good, even though it's very time, not lose. So, what happens is when we cut checks, every day, as clear, either Lynn or I go on to the bank, we have to look here. We have to tell them yes, or so. Even over break, it's every business banking day. We have to do roughly the day of the year. We just have a lot going on with the bank isn't even recommending we close that account. It's only been a year, a little over a year, and they now have these. So ACHs, we do ACH, then the bank, Jennifer approves them. These checks now through every. So the checks that were fraudulent, what we did was work no money. It's just really I've talked to Jennifer and Lynn about this notice today that says, hey, when you're doing those ACHs, make sure you call the vendor and you have the right date, right, this and that. Can you imagine what it would be like if we had to call our vendors every single day? It's faster for us to keep looking. Sat in on a meeting today. The state budget deficit is they're still estimating it to be $800 billion here. So not sure where funding is going to go. They're now saying maybe 2% increase is what we're going to get. And then next month I will have a budget report to all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on to the consent agenda. Bucket.
that we have.
Hey Carol, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
AJ.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
Scott. Yes. Yes. Eric.
Yes.
Brent. Ryan.
Thank you, David. Okay. We are second reading of the University Library Selection Reconsideration Policy. So we're not going to the entire policy in tonight.
Thank you.
Unless somebody would like to start reading, I do not want to. I do believe there is some comments from Scott that you'd like to pick up.
Yes.
Can you provide us much bigger?
So rather than print the whole thing off, I just tried to print off the places I would recommend some changes in the wording I would recommend. I'll try to help you find out where it is. Most of them are options. Under selection criteria, about 5 or 6 issues. And I kind of got this idea from our controversial issues. I don't remember the policy or procedure in the classroom where both sides need to be represented. So I would propose basically a bunch of language here, but basically if about a third of our university community say quality type a number students and then if one of you sources access. And then the additional that resources would not be selected if about a third of the university community would. Then under acquisition procedures, I would just added a little line. Prove representation of points that polling materials collection, maintenance, and weeding, same resource should not. And then under formal complaints, I would propose number 7, reconsideration committee to change the composition. I like the idea of having more people that are voted in on that committee, 2 board members. Then I thought about 11 sub 9. Have something. Goes in. mistake and we wouldn't have. And then I would propose the reconsideration committee guidelines. One of the bullet points says the principal shouldn't include an odd number. Well, we prove this if else who. Those are my thoughts.
Jennifer, are these large enough changes that it would go back to the policy committee?
I would guess.
Excuse me, it's Carol. Jennifer, I couldn't hear you.
I said yes, it would need to go back to the policy committee, and there would certainly be some legal implications, perhaps.
Thank you.
The one thing
Right.
right? It's like, it's a little bit of an arbitrary, I understand.
You're right.
But figuring out when that could be
a challenge. I totally agree with you. I don't know how you bench that. To me, it was like, okay, you want to represent minority voices to me. And to me, mostly for me, it was, what's something reasonable? You know, if you think 50-50, oh, it's over 50%, somebody can use a third of just general. I think most of the time you could be like, a third of our community would find this be on the safe side. That was kind of my process.
Hopefully we have balanced views on virtual.
I hope so. I hope so.
As policy.
You reading this, say that you're at every whole of. I mean, as a policy, if I'm reading this, it says that every single book that we bring into our library, vetted by third of them, it and just don't know how to call that.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I see the heart behind it.
That's the struggle with the wording behind it. I would just like to. That was just my stab in the dark. How do you reasonably put that together in a policy? If someone has a better way to go to the heart of that kind of idea, I would certainly love.
Trying to put my head around how we enact.
Sure. And again, this is my first attempt.
Oh, sorry, no, I just
Trying to-
asked.
I don't think there.
I think our other issue is
Well, that's why I kind of thought, okay, what does a decent portion of our think is that was the attempt at explaining what could be. Because you need a definition of a issue. In fact, I think in our policy of controversial issues in the classroom, probably need a definition of that, because what you might consider controversial, I like. I think we can all agree, like, I hope 100% of our community wouldn't slavery. Right? But here's a those things. I want to get those things, but also we don't want to take. Again, it's my first attempt to try and help us find controversial and what the
I agree with you. Holding that spirit into
I'm a dentist by profession. Right? Somebody can define it better and make it better, I would gladly.
Writing things, verbs have to be spelled 120 dash. Just saying it, because then you get someone's like, going, what's 1/3 mean?
Oh, that's great. Again?
The lawyer.
I'm the lawyer, sorry.
Love you, Bill.
That's why we need a board, right?
Yep.
And I guess I agree with Frank. I agree with. Do we employ our librarians to their best discretion? And this sounds kind of bad, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's like trust our staff and our faculty professionals to do their best at vetting things and bring them in based off of policy. And then unfortunately on the back end, if it is then notified or recognized by the greater community, university community that says, oh, this slipped by, this was maybe not appropriate, and we have the other policy where they can bring it forward and say, hey, this was maybe a lapse of judgment or a poor choice or whatever. And so I see that I appreciate the intent of trying to stop it on the front end coming in, but I wonder if that's not best use of
So
that
part of
process.
it's not so much stopping it on the front end as it is identifying where we need to put a balanced viewpoint. So adding, not subtracting. So I think maybe there is something said there.
Except, so a couple thoughts, except for the pornographic part.
Right.
This isn't about necessarily stopping things, it's about have a balanced viewpoints brought in. Yeah, I'm all about stopping pornography. I'll be totally open and honest about that. But then also, in some meetings that I've Justin, the precedent basically in Colorado, tell me if I misunderstand this, is if you're removing a book, you get sued over it, you're going to lose, and the book will remain. That's pretty well what's happening in the state right now, correct?
I think that's accurate. That's where the case law currently is. But that's why I mentioned it. I think we are the same legal terms.
Sure.
I think they're the same. I can't voice of Americans, but I would
Yep.
imagine the same. That is why, if you remember, he added a section, the access section.
Yep.
Because it does allow schools the flexibility to determine this is appropriate, which we already do in the data. This is appropriate for some leaders, not. So that's where that section came from, was to give us some flexibility.
Which is awesome.
Off the top of my head, I'm not. And also prohibit us from stopping it.
Yeah, the only thing is to hear the saying, don't whether or not we can do that. I'd love to have the lawyer tell us yes or no.
Because I would just say also logistically, I mean, like what? Because like, I don't know if it's normally like the librarians look over it and they're the ones who we kind of put it as their job title. Not having a definition for a controversial issue. If they, I guess if they assert that it could be, so between the 2 or 3 librarians that are looking through it, if they assert that it's a controversial issue, then they go out and recruit additional faculty, staff, teachers.
My thought is, if the librarian goes, probably a third of our community would consider this controversial, then I better get a balance of people. That's my thought logistically, like, okay, yeah, I'm considering this is probably it, so let's get a balance of people. And we leave it at the library level. If there's some dispute, like, which I So I don't think, at least the intent for me, and maybe it's not in the language very well, better, shouldn't be a huge burden. The librarian should be able to go, yeah, I think probably there's enough. It's controversial. Again, that's at least my intent. Right? It's not a huge, well, let's go out and take a poll, every book we want. No, this is reasonable. By reasonable assumption, I'm thinking this is the case. Which is also one of the reasons why I went with a third instead of. Oh, we would probably overemphasize one group over another in our mind without really realizing it.
I appreciate the hard time that I think the question about it is, you might be a better judge of this, is generally policy are like good black. For a policy to have a clause that's so vague, I don't know if that's.
Where you're getting at is you need definition.
Maybe
that's the problem. Don't get me wrong. But reasonably needs to be objectively and reasonably, mildly controversial. What is mildly? What is controversial? What are they specifically? Who is the university schools community? What is pornographic? There's different very definitions. I assume I'm laughing at this. But there just has to be a definition section. With every good set of laws, the first thing you say is, here's the purpose of the rules, here are the definitions, now here are the rules. And so if we do something like this, you just have to be able to define it. I think that's what you're getting at, is so vague, the way it's written. And it's a great start, but we have to figure it out a little more. I think it's in the back of the rules.
Staff. We talked this through with Bryce. This section here. I hear what you're saying, and I could not begin to tell you where we all very much surround. So, based on the talk to versus this we're talking. I haven't met. So definition to me. So Would be very. That way or there? Right, there are things.
So, usually the yeah.
Levels.
I wonder too if like if you came in and said, you know, in these, what about, is yeah. But I mean in like that, you know, and it thing to have.
We have the loss.
Right now we
Yeah,
default
we're
to
under
the
what's
district
the
policy.
policy.
Okay, so we're covered. Sorry.
Kind of, if we had a, we have to
Follow
follow theirs,
Gotcha.
which doesn't really be our.
I understand. I just wanted to make sure we're not violating some law. and we-
No, we are for our own policy. We want to make a decision. For the mercy of.
Years. Yeah, no, I'd have.
Hundreds, thousands.
Book fair and donations, you know, like.
Not necessarily individual, like not necessarily like, but specific titles. 500?
It's probably a good guess for the middle.
What's that?
500 is maybe a good guess for the middle school.
I would say we release.
Then how many do you remove books? So inactive books, right?
Yeah.
How do you remove?
Go through and look and see when it was last year. So give us an idea. I don't know, what do you think? We did a lot. So we have to get rid of about the same amount. So we usually do
one really big. Similar to what. Yeah, similar to what we. Sometimes we rebuy. So I would say that hiring librarians because they've gone to school and they've been trained what journals is. They know the importance of checking out or going with this as opposed to that and then check. So just really important. I mean, it's one that a lot of schools don't know. Budget constraints. So it is point reading at the elementary level and this will try to go back. You have a little. And a lot of times budget. It would be hard. So like what? But we do allow parents to
Would it over where but here here's a like you posted prior to purchasing, so then if you did want to be or there for a almost vetting process, like we're here reading this prove it, like if we have a list of 400 books that we're going to buy at or a list of I say something data evaluation prior.
We're taking of books. So when we purchase books, look at that and then they can.
My problem with that is now it's part of our, now we have part of our, we're just not going to, it's way easier to go, we're just not going to buy that. maybe leave it out. My thought.
I was just trying to think of a
Yeah,
creative way that you
that could be an easier way of dealing with.
Because when you turn in your Amanda, it's like see all titles.
And we look at reviews.
I think that.
Oh, that's also where, how do we get into that mix? So it almost have to make that comes in or something. Okay, but now we want. All
something like that.
Might run into some problems of like battle of the started 8:30. It was a
Maybe caveat.
word that like Colorado. You know. Right. So is this
Right.
Yeah. But intentionally, someone.
And yeah, what?
But they also.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Sure. And that's the biggest part of this. How do you find it? There's a community, pretty serious problem. Yeah. Yeah, this is my first stab at it. Let's start a conversation. And make it work reasonable, that protect our children and help our it doesn't go to the library. They can't check out any books because they're afraid that they're going to stumble on something that they're not prepared to deal with their children. Hey, I don't want my kids exposed to this yet, or I love to have the vast majority of our worried about. Don't ever want parents to set that up. That's the intent, and this was a stab at, hey, let's have a conversation. Not silent.
I do like the
The other. Well, remember a library book. Nobody has to read any library book. You know, a kid a book, if lots of times too much for me and not enjoying it. We all on that. It's perfectly okay to abandon a book when it's not something you're right. The other thing I think that we need to remember is library is for everyone. And everybody deserves to have their story on the shelf. So if we have a book about a kid who has a parent in, okay, and somebody else might, oh, bad people go to prison, I don't want you reading books. But there's someone in our school who has a parent in prison and that kid needs access. So I just think if you try to take away everything that someone is uncomfortable with or thinks is controversial, then you're really limiting the number of stories, the number of kids who see themselves on the shelf.
I'll say again,
I think
there is nothing
yeah.
in here, except for the pornographic part, there's nothing in here that says limit.
I think it's
There is nothing here that says take away a voice.
Okay, but we're already vetting the books based on age and content and maturity level. Right? We already do that when we choose books. That's what our librarians are trained to do. I just worry that this gets really nitpicky. And I think that hurts our library and that hurts.
I think where that's trying to go is like, we have a book on, say, Denver Broncos, but a kid wants to request for I don't agree with it at all. But to Scott's point, like, shouldn't that Kansas City Chief voice able to be equally displayed up? I know we're in the States. I'm just trying to use a simplistic situation of we have Denver Broncos up here. Should we not also have this? And at what point, I don't know, because now we have 32 teams to play, and you know, there's an argument that we can't do that. So, but I get where your intent is going. We're not trying to take away. We're just trying to have it. It sounds like there is a formal process. But what is the percentage of those that are approved? And what would be a rejection?
That aren't made.
What would be a rejection? I do get requests from middle schoolers and they want. But one of the things is when they get really excited about it. That's one thing that bothers me about waiting 30 days is so excited to get a book and I can order it from Amazon and have it for them in 2 days. About you're still wanting to read it and wait 30 days or like, oh. So I don't know, that one. Also request here. Monica graphic novels.
guess of course as the review process. Or is it remain the same?
Well, it's being the same for me. Yeah. I don't know that.
So only they try and work for one of and we actually went into the library with Rachel. Got more people. So I wanted to know. So that's I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, trying to remember back 4 years ago. But I think this is the tough, difficult part is that we haven't actually had to bring in 5 titles. Like, so just thinking about their trying to weigh this all out whenever we reviewed the whole extra book. So that book and the recommendation from the said the book was great. Would have never known. So it was definitely a mistake. I didn't feel like fair because I mean that was a black cloud. But fortunately, it was genderqueer. I don't know if you ever. It was extremely inappropriate graphic novel.
Okay, so are you talking pictures and?
Yes. So, and context would be great for you, but I'll tell you exactly what it was. But just, and I'm not trying, like I understand there's all these sides, right? But there's also like, I don't know how you would have filtered that out. That's where I was at with it. Whenever I walked out of the library, I don't know how she could have filtered it out unless she physically opened the book and went through every page and was like, well, we can't have this. And I don't know at that point, are we allowed to do that?
And I think that's why we have a reading consideration,
Yeah.
right? And not what the committee did decide with that book, put it into the collection. It wasn't successful. I think that where they dug, they defined, I believe, I remember some different ranges of ages that were sexual, which were high school age, which were more college age. So that is what they go through the reading. It was moved for this section, access control section, basically Bryce's starting out. This addition does make that equally usable. So, because I think you've got to have that process because it's just like everyone's, there are going to be something that you look at and some of the things that we find, like it's written in another era, right? Like that's a hard thing too. I don't. Like, I don't, right? And they were appropriate at the time, but at another time and place, like, they don't feel. So I think that's why it's so important to have reconsideration, and whether I agree we needed to have that, but expecting you to have a process to look at a book makes a lot of sense to me, and I feel like our community is more well-rounded and diverse in their opinions and beliefs, and I feel like we're having reasonable conversations about it for our library or not. I feel like we made reasonable decisions and we're transparent about that. I don't have an issue with that part of it. I think that's going to be a thing we were great. It's just probably possible that there's a book that we're going to
I have a question. When you guys are selecting books, high school library in particular, I assume the answer is no to this question, but I'm just going to ask you. You know how TV says contains nudity, contains this, contains this, contains this, you know, I assume books don't have anything even really close to that other than adult, teen adult. Am I right?
Well, so there's usually a paragraph from school library journal or book list. And it'll say may contain themes. It might mention racism, or it might give some of those. You'll get a description. This is a valuable asset to any high school collection because it talks about that tells us a real person that's read it. It's another person out in the world who's usually an English teacher or a librarian. Usually those two who are telling you. So if you haven't read the whole book, you've got.
But it's not like the movies where it's required, you have to mark every category and check the box before, nothing like that. I didn't think so, but.
I would say Common Sense Media has some of that for books. That does have like multiple check marks like that, like star ratings of how much profanity is in it between like what, you know. And so, yeah, sometimes I'll look at Common Sense Media to see what things might be.
So let me recap. You can't, you were saying there's no way you could have figured out that book from just looking at it and basic reviews had what it had. I'm hearing there's not an exact standard for you guys to say, hey, this is going to, if we create criteria in our policy, it's almost impossible for you guys to do that before you buy it and see it. Am I hearing that right?
Kind of, yeah, but then back to like the misleading, like that book won awards and was recommended for young adults, and probably when they mean young adults, it must have meant college-age adults, I don't know, but, you know, that range. So it was kind of, if you felt like it was inappropriate, which I think it did, then that would have been missed.
And I think what was sort of fascinating in particular was that it was a graphic novel, and so I think graphic novels are super popular in high school now, so I think maybe they read those words. I don't know if it would have landed exactly the same way as I think that made it especially expensive.
And graphic novel probably also, we should also know that it means that it's pictures like comics in a chapter book style. Like, you know, when you
I will
first
say
hear
when I
it-
first heard that word, I was like, what?
Well, I had a parent come to me at a book fair and be like, graphic novel, so like how graphic are they? Well, but
Yeah, very, very
they're
graphic. First time I heard that word.
old-time comic books.
It's not that kind of graphic. Although this one wasn't.
This one was graphic. But, so, does that answer?
Questions? Another piece to that. Can I follow up with your question? So when I go in, there's a topic I was looking for, I wanted it to be elementary level. We can do a search by topic, so like Denver Broncos, for example, and say, I want it to be K3, I want it to be 3-5, I want it to be pull up the search. There are ratings, but they're recommended age.
And you've been doing this, what, like 25 years?
25.
And in that time, that's the one time we have moved in. So while, yes, it seems like listings, like you trust these sources that you're using, wasn't a thing that was a
So there's one other topic, the reconsideration committee, and we'll be part of that to elected people, and I think that might be one to, might look at moving back. Committee is
Going from one board member to two.
And then
and the
adding,
parent-teacher organization.
yeah, and adding one from and I'd be open to another suggestion of that. It's just, you want an odd number, right? So if we added one board member, then you gotta
That
add
is what we
somebody
did
else or
last
something.
time.
It is what we did.
That is what we did.
Yeah, that is what you have to
I
do.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
And I just want to be careful, once again, I don't want to work ourselves into a policy mess where at times board member we can't.
Pick something else.
I know, I'm just saying, I
Sure,
just don't want to
sure.
pigeonhole ourselves and go.
Absolutely.
If
Again,
we
this
move it
is
to
a-
3 board members here, then that'd be official meeting.
Which is
and
why I
we can't
didn't do
that.
3 board members. I was aware of that. Again, this was, to me, this was meant as a rough draft, starts a conversation. Got a bunch of what's going
I believe what we did was, what we did was try. Level. Was try to find. That was, I think that's find those.
the broad ability. Having
Justin, this is Carol.
Go ahead, Carol.
I am sensing maybe it's time to send this back to policy committee and not try to get it passed tonight.
Yes. Sensing correctly.
I move that we send it back to the policy.
Carol moved. Scott seconded. Is it? No? Okay. Send it back? Okay. All right. Perfect.
I guess, but we need to give recommendations of what works in the back. For that. I think, I like the idea of the member count. I guess in my opinion, so I don't know, but then of ourselves well in the access controls that stuff, but I appreciate the so my recommendation.
With some, rather have definitions and consider not necessarily this direction. I have heard most from one side, but again, I want to be super clear. This isn't to me about side issue. This is about or quieting voices of one side. Safeguards enough that
Would you look? Don't have it. Because there is a more formal.
Can you email us?
Just send it.
The controversial
Yeah,
issues
just
policy?
whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Just as a board.
Because the board
For
is
next time.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I got it. Maybe around the
Before,
same time.
before we
I was gonna say, I believe it was around the same time as the library stuff, so.
Reviewed it.
that could be a good definition that takes care of
Kind
some
of the
of
policy,
this.
when we go back to the training, those are well aligned. I was gonna say,
So Brian, board. Sort of. What was the word? Controversial?
yeah, what it says right now is, it's the split.
Controversial.
And we have a
Define
policy that talks
controversial.
about.
Can you send it back? Or change it?
What's the board feel about paragraph? For what?
That was an
That was added. That was an addition that I made.
selection criteria.
It's selection criteria to, let's just, again, the third thing was,
Do you want me to post that, there's a.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it the
It's
Miller
Miller.
versus Cal?
Yeah, it's.
So it-
And I think since we have a definite,
I think it was in the one you.
right,
Yeah.
Was it?
I'll send it.
and I think with having, with
you're right.
or anything.
We
it's
could
just
put
if
as
it's
defined,
identified as,
resources identified as pornographic according to this thing, probably covers us legally. I think lawyers should look at it, then at least, yeah. And again, I also look, not necessarily at who the librarians are now, We don't know who it's gonna be in 10 years. I love to have policy not based on any. So just because I bring up a policy doesn't mean I don't trust the person. Right?
Well, you should always write it that way.
Yes. So while I like, we've never had a problem and our librarians are awesome, which I'm not agree with. Write a policy down.
I think whatever we just.
I mean, part of this is making sure there's equality.
Didn't talk about number 9, but.
Yeah, I just thought it was very nebulous what happened afterward. I thought it was.
That. Bring you notes. I'll try. It's hard to get the committee together and it changes twice. For sure, it's a break in there. Yeah, for sure.
That's super conscious.
Okay, we can move on to the first reading of the high school new course proposal.
We like to bring you every year. Favorite things about university is and that's what we brought this month is it's in here. So tiny, but it's in here. But you can see these are the courses. A lot of cool stuff in here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Fancy titles. Huh?
I had a question. We have a chemistry class now, a survey chemistry. And I understand maybe, you know, a survey of physics, chemistry, you know. What's the reasoning behind?
So part of it is the path to chemistry got a little bit longer with Rex. So our AP college algebra before they can get college chem. And what used to be a primarily junior class has suddenly become more of a senior class. I want to kind of keep them in that chemistry pathway if that's what they're interested in without giving them a year off. They do get a little intro in freshman science. Kids that's their main interest then could chemistry all three of those. And for the kids that want test it out and see if they're interested in the deeper version of it, can do that survey, or they can jump straight to chemistry before they get to college. So it just broadens the pathway for both chemistry and it'll still be, whether or not we offer it, will still be based on if we have enough kids interested. So putting it in the books doesn't mean it gets staffed necessarily, but it means it's an option for kids to.
That year, or
I believe that one is a semester or a year long. It's a semester. Sorry, I don't have the chart.
Well, it'd be good if it was a semester because you could then do a semester survey of chem, a semester survey physics.
Right.
Decide which direction you want to go.
Yeah. Sorry, I hit several columns for this. I can't tell you.
we get rid of programs, class, or like, from the books, from the class, go.
And again, just because they go in there doesn't mean we're gonna.
But prior to on the course load that was given to them and then go, well, you know, I'm more passionate about this. Hey,
Well, is that a
Dual enrollment.
college level class?
Yeah. So that one is geared toward right now our Heritage Spanish kids have Heritage 1 and Heritage 2, and then they sort of get merged back with the non-native Spanish speakers in AP Spanish. So this is like Ames's version of Heritage.
I was just making sure that it wasn't a year, that it was actually a college.
Right, it's not based on the movie 2012. It's not.
Sure.
I can say this, every single college advisory board I sit on, the interpersonal communications is like one thing we always cross.
Yeah, Mr. Uribe just finished his master's in it, so barely became eligible. Well, actually, I think he graduates. Be able to teach that as current enrollment. Been working toward that for a long time with that. We're to a point now, kids can get almost all of their gen ed tracks without leaving the building.
I did finally find survey.
We don't need to do anything this time, right? Yeah. Lost track of that. This one's correct. Love it.
Some of our club. Yeah, we went ahead and released it, of course, catalog, and I'll just say it anymore, we'll go there, we're gonna use it. All of that. Stuff. All the beautiful.
Yeah. Great. Okay, and we will move on to ratify payment for the holiday gift card for this.
We're going to talk about that?
Can we do it?
So we're gonna, so the board gives typically. It is. So we thought that we're planning.
Jennifer, I couldn't hear that.
We would like to give $50 from the board and $50 for staff, like to match our amount, typically what the board does. That it reduces.
Thanks.
It's about 100.
I would move the budget.
Carol? Oh, sorry. Carol?
Yes.
Agent?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Frank? Anna? And Ryan?
I was just thinking about what we put quickly on the last.
Ava.
All right, we are going to move into executive session.
So, going to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402, subsection 4. For determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations related to the act of the superintendent and Colorado Revised Statute 4-6-402, section 4, subsection
Numeral I.
Roman numeral I for both of us, to discuss a personnel matter related to
Okay. Call David.
Who did first and second?
All right. Daryl.
I'm gonna sit in, but Justin, are you gonna call me?
Yes. I will call you.
AJ.
Thank you so much.
Bill. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Brent. Eric.
Yes.
Brent. Yes. And
Is it personal?
oh yeah. Okay. And Ryan.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Part of our